Hey, while in Wales, we did a 3-day tour with Welch Dragon Tours. Had a driver, Rob. I saw more castles, Roman ruins, oddball places, went to the top of Mt Snowden, saw the National Slate Museum, which you wouldn't think would be interesting, but it was really kind of cool. Went in his Land Rover, inn to inn, pub to pub, good people, good food, good ale. Hey, here are some scenes from it. Okay, we're here in St. David's. This is the cathedral, first built in the 1200s, sacked several times by the Vikings. In England, to be a city, you have to have a cathedral, and this is the smallest city in Britain. Here's the gate to the walled city of St. David's. As we pan out here, we have the cathedral. And further off in the distance, we have, I think, the bishop's residence, which is in ruins. Very interesting architecture. First built in the 1200s, though the original cathedral was built actually in the 600s. This is the bishop's palace at St. David's. The graveyard.
I don't think they're showing up your street, is it? It's rather precarious up there, for instance.
Here's the kitchen with all the fireplaces. The bishop's hall, where the bishop's business was done. No pub crawling bus parties without full prior notice. I guess that means they won't let us in here. Here in New Way, this is where we spent the night. This is where Dylan Thomas wrote some New Key, not New Way, New Key. I can't pronounce it in Welsh.
You pronounce it in English.
That's right. And it's a little town where Dylan Thomas wrote some novels. We stayed at the Hotel Penwig, which is also a 4-room hotel upstairs and a pub and restaurant downstairs. Just finished our full Welsh breakfast. Interesting little town. One of many castles. They're just too numerous to even count. This one, however, well, I don't know if that counts as a moat or not. Definitely is a castle. Okay, now we're in Portmerion, somewhat eccentric town built by a wealthy man. It was also the scene for the TV series The Prisoner. They built a Italianate village here on the coast of Wales. It's just somewhat bizarre. Huh.
And he got writer's block. He was very involved in propaganda shows. That's why.
One more view of Portmerion. Really strange, like a fantasy land. Something like Michael Jackson would build. But here we are on vacation. Now we're going to Carnarvon Castle. One of the largest ones in Wales. It's a whole walled city.
Within the other royal walled town of Conwy. Conwy, however, is not a royal walled town. It is just the walled town. Edward originally intended to administer North Wales from Conwy. but because of the significance here to the Welsh princes and because of the position, he decided that he would do it.
We're on the Snowden Mountain Railway, heading up to the top of Mt Snowden, the highest point in Wales.
After a journey that begins high up the valley, two of Snowden's rivers join forces in what's left of this ancient oak forest to plunge into Lake Crwthyn.
There's the summit of Mt Snowden up there in the fog, or low clouds.
The clumps of willow you can see along the banks of Afon Arddu, far below in the valley to the right, are part of the national park. The path along the ridge above Crocodile Arddu is the Snowden Ranger path, as it rises.
There's the very top of Snowden. Okay, you look like you are. Coming back down the mountain. Apparently we're the only train of the day. We got up there and then they decided to close the summit hut, so the staff is coming down with us. We were the first and last train of the day. Glad we made it though. Okay, here we have the National Slate Museum. Not something you'd see every place.
That's fine. Just put your hand on there and just leave with that chisel back and forth. Just put your hand on there. From behind. That's it.
Bring it out.
Yeah, go ahead, push it this way. Right. You see, hear that crack again? Go ahead, keep going. Push it down slightly. That's it. There you go.
Made of iron. So they put oxidised paint onto the fins. Very little maintenance. It rusts over, but it doesn't corrode like steel corrodes.
And this is the second largest water wheel in Great Britain.
Yeah, it's still working. Biggest one is the Laxey wheel on the Isle of Man.
This is the train station on Anglesey Island. And this is all one word for the name of the train stop, which I believe is 56 characters long. We'll have to find someone to translate. Here's what this says.
I'll have a go at it. I'm not as good as the Welsh. Llanfair, Pwlgwyn, Gilgogyrth, Llandethfilio, Gogo Goch.
Oh, I would have said the same thing.
There you are.
Which translates into the Church of Mary of the Hollow of the White Hazel and the fierce whirlpool of the Church of Upsud by the Red Cave.
Tessiliae by the Red Cave.
But you can shorten that all into one word.
Beaumaris.
Beaumaris Castle, the only castle in Wales that actually has a moat.
It's also the largest of Edward I's Iron Ring. They just built the towers as Glyndŵr captured it and held it.
Inside of the castle. Built in the early 1200s.
It's very complex.
Once you get into the outer wall, any castle. This was called the Killing.
Harlech. Harlech was the, shall we say, the most up-to-date design that James of St George perfected when he built the original castles of the Iron Ring. He carried it forward into this large apartment block here. Edward came here.
More of the defenses here. This hallway is reportedly haunted by a nun.
The thing about the monarchs is this is the chapel. This was built a lot later than the rest of the castle. Hence, it's quite ornate. It's in very good condition. In relative terms, it was built into the latter part of the 13th century, early 14th. The king,
Up on the top level, gatehouse. The first inner field and structure.
chapel, oh, that's right over the Great Wall.
Rainbow out there over the castle.
But Merlin's not in it, and they've got well, it's not strictly speaking totally incorrect. We're actually left by the castle builders for scattering.
This is the Penmon Dove
Mainly
Cart,
Martins, the ducks don't like them.
which is actually a building with all these little holes where doves would stay, and
Monks would eat them.
they would feed them up there, and then when it was time to eat a dove, they would just go pick them out of the nest. Apparently there's only 2 of these left in the world, one here, the other in France.
I never would have thought about making a dove cart.
Yeah.
It's out pretty quickly.
This is Conway
But,
Castle.
It was trench warfare for a while between the people on the sea Barbican and in the towns on this side.
With the Welch flag on top.
When the,
They had this tower and
yeah,
the rest of the
they were all equal, so they were king. So the English came and fixed them and the rest of them. But they were actually given to the community.
So now we're at the Roman fort. We've had our fill of castles, now we're looking at Roman forts.
To the Silures, and today they are called the Cornish, which is why Cornwall, which is one of the 7 Celtic nations, is reviving its own language.
The ruins of the Roman fort. Only the foundations remain. Barracks houses. One time there was up to 1,000 Roman troops here to secure this part of Britain from the barbarians.